まもなく1番線に渋谷新宿方面行きが参ります。危ないですから黄色い線の内側までお下がりください。
The train bound for Shinjuku from Shibuya is approaching. Please stand behind the yellow lines as the train basically enters the station. Thank you very much.
Tokyo です。ご乗車ありがとうございました。お忘れ物、落とし物ないようもう一度お確かめください。新宿立川方面は1番線、2番線、秋葉原上野方面は3番線、4番線、品川方面は5番線、6番線、京葉線、舞浜、蘇我方面は京葉地下ホーム、総武線、横須賀線は総武地下ホームです。東北、上越、長野新幹線は20番線から23番線です。この電車は折り返し8時45分発光145号岡山行きとなります。車両の整備が済むまでお待ちください。
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Yamanote Tech and Society Podcast. My name is Chris. Hoping you're enjoying your day. Today is Wednesday, February 12th, 2020, and we have a really good show for you today. As you can hear from the intro, I've been digging around trying to find some more pieces for my for the intro. That is basically some of the announcements that you hear when you arrive in Tokyo Station or anywhere in the JR lines in the Tokyo area. It's very nostalgic to listen to. These days, people have taken upon themselves to actually upload clips on YouTube that I can usually use for this podcast. You like it? I actually spent some time to kind of like translate the first one. Basically, it's the announcement that comes in. And when that comes in, the announcement usually talks about which train is coming in, where is it going, where is it coming from, and where is it heading, like, you know, the departure and final destination. And then it talks about standing behind the yellow line. So if you are familiar with, you know, most train stations in the city will have like a yellow line. And in Japan, they have the same thing. And you should stand behind that because, you know, it's pretty dangerous if you stand too close. The train can basically hit you. So as I move through this, I'm thinking about trying to kind of spoof this up a little bit. You know, speaking about spoofing things up, I actually have the interview with Rhyming Gaijin, aka Rhyming Matthew. Matthew is an entrepreneur who also spends a lot of time with building his own line brand as a rapper. He spent most of his last years in Japan, and he also focuses a lot on the idea of working online. So he has been online for over 10 years now, and I've been listening to him when I actually was interested in going to Japan. He had a lot of YouTube videos about life in Japan, him trying to be an artist, and in the ups and downs. It's like kind of like a vlog before it actually was pretty cool. So I definitely would like for you to sit down and listen to his talks about it. I took some time to really, find, I asked him about it and he was willing to do the interview. So, it's pretty busy, but I have a lot of conversation. I don't know if I could put the whole thing in here right now, but I have about an hour of content that I have clipped down. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start talking about it in a few minutes. But before we get started with that, I just want to basically take the time to explain to everybody that this podcast is basically brought to you from Anchor FM. I'm not basically sponsored by them, but I utilize their services to make this podcast, and I find it very simple for me to put together. That podcast is pretty much put together utilizing the smartphone or your desktop application. You can utilize a phone, a microphone, or you can use a Blue Yeti microphone, one I'm using right now. But I like the ease of it. You can put together a podcast relatively easy. You can download and share the link of the podcast, and you can also monetize it. I haven't necessarily did that, but I am looking at trying to continue to create more content and design for the brand by working on it every single day. And Anchor FM does that. That's the trick. There are other ways of handling like podcasts, is like, just basically recording straight up audio and then just talking, which is okay too. But I haven't really felt really comfortable doing that because of the fact that I kind of like being able to create these little small segments, and these segments can be clipped into smaller pieces that are used to share over the internet. I don't really feel like everybody has an hour or 30 minutes out of their day to kind of listen to my talks like people maybe had, back in the day. So, we're gonna go ahead and just talk a little bit more about how this format goes. People who maybe this is the first time you're actually coming in here. My podcast pretty much starts out with like talking about what's going on in my my newsletter that I have. I was actually supposed to go ahead and kind of have an actual email broadcast using like some formal email marketing software, but I decided not to actually put that out just yet, mainly because I'm trying to still figure out 2 or 3 more things before I actually put it out. Mainly what is going to be the address I'm going to be using. Am I going to be using like ksamuel.chris@gmail.com, or am I going to create like a standard email for the website I have? I have a website up right now at yamanote.tech. If you want to be a part of the newsletter that I have right now, which basically I create a Google document, and I use like links and tags and stuff like that. It's very nice to have it up there, because I don't have to, if anything gets changed, I can always update that form and everybody can be able to get it because I'm sharing it with them. I want to be able to utilize the email broadcasting software, because it allows me to know who's actually opening up the links, who's watching it, if I should change something or I shouldn't, and to kind of like build my audience. So stay tuned for that. I might be sending something out probably early this week, depending on how this audio will work. Now, I've been able to doing a podcast online has been relatively easy. I've come to the understanding that your phone is very powerful. I can actually record the entire thing on my phone. I utilize a video chat service called Zoom.us to build the to create the podcast and record it, because I can dial in a phone number, and the user the guests can actually dial in as well, and they can talk over the phone, which is sometimes a little bit better with signal wise. And I can record that entire call using tape a call, which turns the whole entire phone call into an audio bit that I can share on Evernote or Dropbox, or even a file on my phone, and then I can listen to it and clip it. I have a lot of content, talking about that, and I will go ahead and go into further detail about the interview in the next segment. But I want to just get all this out of the way. So basically, I also have the newsletter that I kind of talk about the links, the videos and books and games or whatever I'm listening to. I try to like upload that weekly for people to kind of like look into if they're interested. And that information is like usually used throughout in other different social media platforms. But it's a great place to kind of, if you're interested in like reading, if you're a big reader. If not, that's kind of like how I like to place things out. So if I talk about things in the podcast, I can always refer back to the newsletter for people to have like actual documentation, like sorted by date and time. And Google does a really good job to kind of like able to kind of create links that goes direct to like other websites and whatnot. And I think it's much safer too, because of the fact that, you're not worried about getting like some stray random email that's like just put online. But I could be wrong. I mean, for right now, I do like that, because most of my audience is actually, they're actually my people I know, family and friends, colleagues, co-workers. And for that, we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit more about the interview. So stay tuned. Hey, what's going on? Welcome back. So I just want to go ahead before I start the interview. I want to make a little small introduction. So Rhyming Gaijin is he's basically he started out as like a entrepreneur online trying to sell a lot of his music. He wanted to dance. He wanted to be able to um, find a way to find his brand, and rapping is something he's been doing recently. He made a track, a song, like a minute or two every single day for 365 days. He basically calls it like 365 days of rhyming. And you can find it on his website at rhyming.bandcamp.com. It's 365 days of rhyming by Rhyming Gaijin. He also has a link where you can buy the USB tape, which is pretty nice. I'm probably gonna get it and like trying to help promote it as well, because it was very creative. Pretty much if you're from even 80s, 70s, 80s, baby, you would probably know a lot about the tape cassettes, and you use tape cassettes in a cassette player. But it's basically a USB stick attached to it, so it looks like a tape cassette, and it has a lot of extra features, like extra content of his and stuff. And I thought it was a really clever idea. So if you I'll leave the links in the description below, and hopefully you guys can pay attention to that. But right now we're going to go into the first part of the interview. All right, so now I'm using the phone to talk. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, great. I don't know why that was actually what's happening. It sounds even clearer now. Yeah, so let's go ahead and continue with the conversation. The last question I asked was, how early did you start your brand or your business?
I get the Rhyming Gaijin brand, or the brand of branding yourself?
Well, that's a good question. Like the brand of Rhyming Gaijin, and I guess that would be like branding yourself. But what I mean by is like the whole idea of going to Japan and utilizing this term to kind of spin off your music business or your music brand in Japan. So like I guess maybe that would start like maybe almost before you actually started to go to Japan, and then maybe right after, whatever you feel comfortable like talking about. Just tell me like your story.
All right, the story. When I don't know the age, but when NWA just came out, I remember, actually I have a notebook, and so I think I was 5 or 7. Whenever NWA came out, that will pinpoint that time. But when I went home for Christmas this year, I found that notebook, and in the notebook it said, I like, quoting young Matthew, I like to dance, I like to rap, I like to make music. But what's crazy is rap wasn't even, NWA was there, but they weren't like, rap wasn't popular. They were being banned at that point.
Mm-hmm. And what is the NWA? Can you just give us shine a little bit light on that? What have you put a listeners that don't know about NWA?
And of course, well, luckily for the listeners of the day, there's a movie out, one of those buyouts, whatever. But NWA is Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, and Eazy-E, I believe. Mm-hmm. Dr. Dre is the guy that signed Eminem, Beats by Dre. Ice Cube makes those great movies, Are We There Yet? And other things. But a hip-hop group. They came out and they were very political at a time when, well, in a sense, most black music was political, edgy. But there's this, for the day, and they were banned, got all the way up to like the FCC, and they try to stop their music. They're one of the reasons you have advisors. Anyway, so it is a rap group. They were edgy, kind of like Public Enemy, old school.
Right.
And at that point, I was making stickers by myself using wax paper and coloring, and I would make stickers. So it was a kind of shop way back then. And I was selling it for like a quarter and a nickel. I didn't have a real good price. And I remember making an NWA for my brother. So I think at that point was my entrepreneurial being coming into. And I always would make stuff and try to sell it. I just didn't have the sense. My family's not entrepreneur. They're entrepreneurs in their own way, but making stuff and selling it wasn't what was in our house. So I would do it. My mom would make it, or my mom would buy it. But it was what it. Around 16, I started rapping, or 12. I guess middle school, 12. Coolio. Fantastic Voyage. So I started like freestyling over that, changing the words. 16, I started to rap. Around 17 is where I took the name Manifesto because I was in in-school suspension, and the book happened to be around, and it was started with an M. That was my thing. So Manifesto was, I took it because it was a collection of ideas. If you read the Communist Manifesto, it's a bunch of different ideas. It worked with what I was doing. So at that point, I started to put it on my body. I had an airbrush shirt. That's all I could really do at that point. But I had a lot of clothes with Manifesto written on it. And people asked if they could have that clothes too. Oh, that's cool. Can I have your sweater? Like, no, I only got one. Why would I give you my sweater? And college, Temple University, Philadelphia, what up? So I'm in college, and I brought that spirit with me. So now it's music-based. So I was making CDs. I wouldn't recommend this, but I used my school tuition to buy a duplicator. Duplicator is a machine that duplicates. So I bought one of those. I bought a printer that you could print on the CDs.
So you use this duplicator CD to pretty much get people's attention for the CD, like for the music you were singing. So like you needed the duplicator so you could make copies of the song, right? Of the music you were making.
That was the plan.
Oh.
It didn't. That was the plan. Buy the duplicator, make the CDs, give out some, sell some other ones. I had stickers. The whole campus was littered with my promotion. This was back in the day when you could still get into computers. They weren't so difficult.
Right.
So
like everybody didn't have a computer.
Well, the school computers didn't have security. So you can literally rip any program that was on it, or you can set it up that when you click on the open Internet Explorer, it goes directly to my website that has my song playing. I did stuff like that. I was on a house list.
That's really nice.
Time Temple was kicking us out. They weren't giving us nice housing, so there's like a riot or a march. So I made a kind of, in my own way, a political song about Temple not giving us housing and they're overcharging us. And
do you have any samples of that?
That was Popular Collar.
I mean, if you don't have it right now, that's okay. I mean, like when I process this, I might, when you say you made a song, I might play a clip of the song within it. You know?
Yeah, like it's there.
Awesome.
So this is again back in the day. So I spammed everyone who was on the list. It was like after school, all those who needed housing, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone got blasted with my song, and the lady's like, "Hey, it was a cool song, but don't do that." Because then my girlfriend at the time, she and I were planning to go to LA, and we're going to bust tables and do whatever we got to do to make it happen. And one day she told me she's going to Rome, which was kind of out the blue. Up until that point, I only knew one person who studied abroad or went outside the country. And ironically, she went to Australia. She still lives there. But at that time, she never came back. I'm like, wow, she just left forever. So when my girlfriend at the time said she's going to Rome, that's what I felt. She's never coming back. So I looked at the brochure. It said Rome, it said Australia, it said London, and the last one was Tokyo. And I said, okay, I'll go to Tokyo. Prior to that, I never thought of Tokyo other than Sony's out there and Motorola's out there. And they make the cool phones at the time. So I apply and she applies and we both get into our respective programs. But once again, I had nothing. There's no, I think what makes me unique, some people always want to go to Japan. They dreamed about it since they were like in their mom's body.
Yeah. But
I could care less. If I got accepted, that's one thing. If I didn't, back to LA. It was just a whim. I didn't really think I would be above or beyond all those who are studying Japanese and all that. But I did get accepted because that's what happened. And I came out here with the Manifesto brand. So I had all my clothes. I learned how to write manifesto in katakana. It was pretty long, manifesto. And the way you say it doesn't sound as smooth. So I switched it to Manny-chan, but it sounds very childish. So then I switched to Mashu because that's what my students were calling me. I made some songs like that. And then, as I was saying, I was in it was a kind of bar, this little spot. My friend and I were freestyling, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a Rhyming Gaijin. Oh, Rhyming Gaijin. Rhyming Gaijin. I like that. That's my name. And from that point, that's what I started to put on my clothes, Rhyming Gaijin. Well, at that point, it wasn't on my clothes. It was just what I was saying. I made the channels, what have you. And I think I posted on my YouTube, like, hey, I need somebody to help me with the logo. And Humble Bunny, that's his name, Nate, he's like, hey, I can do it. I'm like, cool. So we met, and in my way, I said, I want a logo that's this, but not that, but not this, a little bit of this, but a little bit of that. And he managed to come back the next week, and he had some designs. I'm like, that one right there. He was able to understand what I wanted, and he made it. And he did it for like he did it for a price. And I was asking him, how do I put it on a shirt? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, how do I get stickers? He's like, I don't know. I just designed this stuff. So then there was a little journey of me trying to figure out how to get it from this little PDF to my body or to the shirt or whatever. I found out. And then around that time, I'm starting to wear it in my videos, and people are like, hey, what's that? That's cool. Can I buy it? And I'm like, sure. And I started to sell it. And So I guess to summarize, I always was trying to sell stuff. That's what I like doing.
Yeah.
So I'm not it's not my, I mean, I eventually went to business school, but selling is hard for me. I can make it. I just don't like selling it. So I ended up, back to college, I made all those CDs. I sat there just burning CDs all weekend, not eating. But when it came time to like get out there and put it to people, I couldn't do it. So I ended up.
So let's go back to that a little bit. The actual decision to try to get someone to sell, or to buy something that you created. Can you talk a little bit about how you started, how you overcame like the feeling of you wanted to actually to sell something, and then how you felt when you actually sold your first CD?
I can't say that I overcame it. Like I'm still there. 2019.
But what I mean by what I'm trying to get at is that I know that it may sound like you're overcoming it. That's great, but there's a point where you say you're going to you're gonna sing, you're gonna write some music, and you're going to sing music, you're gonna record it, and then you're actually gonna sell it. What's the point about selling this song, selling this music? Like, there was when you started actually to go out and try to get people to buy these CDs, what were you thinking about? How did you continue to push through it? Or how about we could about how much time did it take for you to to do this? Like, because right now you're still doing it. So whatever you had then, you have now, and that passion is what I'm trying to. I like that if you can explain that a little bit.
I guess actually, this is the long. Well, if you're gonna edit all this, and I feel bad that it's gonna be this way, but today I met with two friends of mine, and really I have this conversation all the time with creatives and non-creatives. And so for me, the making part is what I do. It's hard for me to sit there and not do something, not create something. So the outputting is easy for me. I don't get writer's block. I'm not worried that my content isn't good enough. Like I don't. Those thoughts never come to my mind. And music-wise, I am my biggest fan. There's no bigger fan than me. I still listen to. My iPhone freaking died a couple of months ago, so all my music got erased. But all my old music was still. It's on hard drives, but I had it in the kind of little playlist, but all my music is still on my iPhone from the tapes I used to make. So when I was 16, I still listen to them. I remember sitting in the house. I got a little mini tape recorder of me walking home from work. I remember walking home from work saying whatever I was saying, freestyling. Which every song to me is precious. It's gold, and it went from tape to CD to MP3. Now I'm in the process of putting everything in the cloud, because that's my treasure. When I pass along, I want these things to be in some type of form that's easy for people to like. I doubt anyone could go through any of my hard drives and make sense of it, because it's just random like that. Now the selling part. Now this is difficult for me because I'm friends with a lot of musicians, artists, and they're working just as hard to make their music too. So the money that they could give to me, they could put it back into their art too. Or kind of my overall thing. I wouldn't want someone to like save up 2 months of paychecks to buy my shoes. That's just going to depreciate and have no value. I mean, it could have some resale value, but they should invest in their own education, invest in their. So I feel it's kind of it's a catch-22. Of course, I want them to buy whatever I'm selling so I can live a better life, but I feel weird, so I don't wear Nikes because of that reason. I did when I was younger, but as soon as I put my logo on my body, it just killed. I mean, back in the day, I used to rock Vizu. When I came out here, I saw these kids with these pants. They have a big M painted on the back of them, and that's M for manifesto or M for Matthew. And I found out it's Vizu. So one pair of jeans is like $300. I had 6 of those. Hats are like $100. I had 12, 15 of those hats. I just had so much. And I read an interview from the guy who made it, and he's like, yeah, I'm not really interested in spreading my brand to America. It's kind of a Japan thing. I was kind of salty. Then when I got the logo and I put it on my hat for the first time, my $7 trucker hat, and I put my little logo on it, I found a place that do it for me. I literally threw all those clothes away. Like, why do I need to wear your brand? I got my own. So the sense of value, it is for me. And then when I want everyone to have their own value, which kind of is counterproductive. Now, if I have a manager and he's doing the selling on my behalf, it's a little bit more distance away from me, and I might not care so much. But if it's me, I'll probably give it to you for free. And that's no way to run a business. If I'm buying it, got to make some kind of profit. Ideally, I would want the money to generate somehow so I can give away stuff for free. That's where I would want to go with it. But lights have to be turned on, and
I got it. So, what I'm trying to what I see here is that you have the passion to talk about the brand and building yourself through entrepreneurship, and you understand about when it makes certain profit margins. What I'm trying to kind of find out is, how do you promote value towards your brand? What would be some of the ways that you would do that, so where you can increase the value for your profit margin?
I mean, everyone knows this answer. Well, the answer is not that difficult. What I did on my channel.
It is, because I actually get a lot of people have a different. They have different ways that they feel that they increase value, but I'm just asking everybody. So.
Okay. Well, I put it this way. Warren Buffett said something like, "If you want to be a millionaire, stop spending money."
Very good.
Like, it's
quote.
that simple. And it's the same with the brand. If you want people to believe in your brand, be real, be honest, put your heart out there. Which everyone knows this in a sense. It's kind of intuitive, but the minute you start to do that, you're vulnerable, and it's kind of the trade-off. So when I'm on YouTube, this is my girlfriend. Nothing lasts forever, and eventually, when shit goes south, it's not going to be a pretty thing. And you can see this with a lot of vloggers and YouTubers. When they break up, their channel gets a little funny. Their brand. I used to make videos, but I didn't watch videos. But there was a big one. They were like getting millions of views per video, and when they broke up, people were like crying and having heart attacks. But outside of YouTube, when Brad and what's her face got divorced when
Brad and
Nicki Minaj
like,
and
Brad. Oh, okay. Like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie.
like
right?
people have something to say about it. Like
Yeah.
they're concerned, they're worried, and I didn't think that would happen for me because I'm just this random guy on YouTube in Japan who gets like on a good day 100 likes. I don't think I ever got 100 likes, but when
Okay,
I broke
but
up,
like just that before you go and you pushed on to that, people this idea that you're a random person, you're only random until the person sees you for the first time. After after 100 likes, people are coming in because somebody knows of you, and the algorithm knows of you, and now the algorithm is sending your stuff to people because someone came to your site or to your YouTube channel and was able to kind of see there was some value there. So like the way I actually found your information was random, but only in that instant. I continuously knew of your videos, and for some reason, being able to even to go through my Facebook friends and listen to and see that your stuff is there, it helps me to keep track of that. So I don't think that it's too random. Like there's something I hear things that you're talking about that's very similar to the principles I have. And I hear very similar things that a lot of people go for. So it's random, but I don't necessarily think it's but continue. Sorry,
it's when I started YouTube. When I started YouTube, I didn't know people watched YouTube. From college, I went to school for video making, so I was making DVDs when no one had DVDs. Players.
Okay, so that's
I was always
early 2000s.
Yeah, when the Apple Power G3 came out. So I'm in Japan for the second time, and someone sends me a random email saying, "Hey, you should come to YouTube." I think it was a bot. It might have been someone staff, but either way, they're just sending out this email to everyone. I go on there, I upload a couple of videos, no one watches, life goes on. And I come back to Japan the third time to start watching, to start working. And I check those videos again, and there's still no one there. And I never knew that people were watching it. So my intent for making the videos in the beginning was for my friends in the States who were not coming to Japan anytime soon, for my family to see what I'm doing out here.
Right.
My friends didn't watch either. No one watched. I was just too ahead of that curve. So I'm posting videos, no one's watching, and life goes on. I started posting some of my shows, no one watches, life goes on.
But I ran into your video now.
Well,
and I don't know, and talking from a fan, like, I don't know exactly how I ran into your videos, but I think that I was looking for videos. I was watching a lot of videos of people living in Japan. So you might have said something on your videos about being in Japan, about being an entrepreneur. Being black. I think could be another idea too. I don't know, but it didn't stop me from watching. Once I started watching it, it continued. I think there might have been like a stop. There was other people. Okay, Ashley, let me tell you. Let me help you put a little bit of spice on that time frame. Okay, so there were a few people that were pretty big during that time that I was watching. All right, so there's a guy named Kane Carter. Are you familiar with Kane Carter? He has a thing called Hot Damn My Rap. He lives in Baltimore. He does all these comedy things. And then there was this guy, Unforgivable. There was very, very special, like, videos about podcasts called I don't remember. me look at it more. Oh yeah, Hello from Japan. That was a podcast that the guy started putting his videos online. So I think that he was also in Japan. That guy was also in Japan, and he like did things like that. But I think yours videos was the first one with music, and you were like doing music in Japan. There was also Black Tokyo podcast. That was a pretty big one as well. So I think that my point from what I was looking at might have helped me find those things too. Because I don't know, that was around 2006 or 7, maybe I think maybe a little bit earlier, 2008. Does that ring a bell for you?
How to put this? So, in general, I am oblivious to, like, you know the TV show Heroes?
Yeah, I heard that. That was an old, well, it's kind of old now. Yeah, Heroes.
So I started watching it maybe 5 years later.
Okay.
And eventually they got canceled. So eventually a lot of people were like upset. But I didn't notice all that until 5 years later when I'm watching it and I can't find the last season. Mm-hmm. Now I'm upset. Like that's kind of my. So in Japan, they were vlogging from 2007. I think Tokyo Kuni, mm-hmm. He was like the godfather of vlogging. But there were out
Tokyo
there who? Kuni.
Okay.
There was a bunch of them. They were just doing their thing. I didn't know about them because I wasn't vlogging. I was a rapper making videos about me rapping in Japan for my friends mm-hmm. in the States. Mm-hmm. So when people would write me comments, I always think it's weird. I don't know you. I didn't. So my girlfriend at that time, like, who are these people who are writing to me? I don't know them. It's weird. But it was a whole thing. So I never connected. And then I made, so my first 2005 videos were just me rapping. There was no content mm-hmm. other than, look at me, I'm rapping. Look at me, I'm rapping. I'm still rapping. But who cares? Mm-hmm. So then I made this video, like, it was summertime. I just moved to a house. And so, yeah, it's really hot in Japan. So it's kind of, I was vlogging by accident. So I'm like, Japan is hot, and I'm ranting it. I make a little rap song out of that. We have to separate the trash in Japan. I made a rap about that. And then my girlfriend at that time, she kind of played along with me in this thing I was doing. And that's when more people started to, like, find me. I think it's the girl. It's always the girl. But people started coming, like, hey, man, you're so cool. Tokyo Sam.
Okay.
So he reaches out to me, and I click on his videos, and he's, like, doing the same thing as me, but, like, J-Vlogger. Like, J-Vloggers 1.0, the way they used to do things. Hey, guys, I'm in Japan. That's so great. I thought, so I came from, I know how to use Final Cut. So I want to edit and use some After Effects and all that good shit. And they're just sitting in front of a camera talking. But they were getting all these views, and it's like, I disapprove of this. So again, I wasn't interested. But more people were talking to me about whatever. So around this point, I made one video with my girlfriend. Like, and I won't get credit for it because it's just what it is. But I made a video with my girlfriend at the time talking about dating in Japan, which is like one of the biggest topics now. If I make a video today, I'll still get lots of views because that's what a lot of people care about. But I just wanted, she's there, we asked, and we got a lot of views. And then views, fast forward. This one producer guy, he started sending me his beats, but I kept telling my girlfriend at the time, why would he send me beats? I don't know him. It was a weird concept for me. And then
you didn't like the people who just randomly got in contact and tried to work with you. That was kind of weird.
Well, I'm weird in the sense that I'm oblivious. I didn't know there was an ecosystem inside of YouTube. I didn't do podcasts. I didn't do blogs. I didn't do chat rooms. Like I'm self-sufficient. If I need it done, I do it myself.
So,
where other people are actively looking for, hey, how do I come to Japan? I didn't need to ask. I'm just gonna come and figure it out. So I guess
I'm telling you right now, you were pretty popular. You were pretty popular. It was. I mean, like you were the only one out there doing it. I have a few of my. I have a few friends of mine that we have a Japanese group. We used to have what's called JCAG in New York. I'll send you a link to the rest of it, where we kind of like all the, I don't know, the kokujins, like who speak Japanese and stuff like that. And I was telling them like, hey, I want you to sign up for my little YouTube channel, and I want you to. As soon as I said that, Rhyming Gaijin, the whole freaking chat grew up. So just not to, because we would just find out what people were doing. So it's not really about. Don't get scared. It's like my 67 and I, like, you know, that we kind of like tried to keep track of all the people online doing something, you know, because like I feel like if you were out there doing something like that, you're kind of like standing up for all of the culture that's in Japan, in America, like Black culture, hip hop culture, you know. So it's great to kind of be able to talk to you about it and hear that, you know, you didn't necessarily set that up, but yeah, people do listen. A lot of people, what they do, they lurk. You know, like they don't really interact. They just say a few things and then that's it. I think I said a few things back in the day, but I didn't know how to really connect with you either. I think one of the things I actually would have, I actually found myself connecting to is when people have the live Q&A. You know, where they'll like have people like come in and like ask questions and stuff, and you would just answer it. You know, I think, and that's that the new YouTube allows us to do that. The new YouTube Live, where you would have like chats coming up and you would just answer in, and I think that it's more engaging. That was, you know, so, but yeah, you know, I think that it was just, you know, it's just cool to kind of see you out there doing it. And then like your music, it becomes you know, like it's more like, I understand what music is. It's a label of who you are. When you're speaking or you're sort of rapping or you're telling a story, it's all on you. It's not really, I guess, you're not necessarily, you know, there's meaning behind it. There's a story behind it. And, you know, and looking back at it now, I think that it was great to actually have that. I think that you can you know, not adapt, but you can relate to that, I'm sure.
I guess if we jump to the future, now it's 2018.
2020? Oh, 20. Okay, jump 2018. Okay,
2018. So I stopped doing YouTube for like at least 3 years now. I stopped right after grad school, which is it's weird. I just didn't want to do it anymore. Other things happened. So I go out to this event, and it's the first time I'm at a music event because I kind of stopped doing everything. And there's some black people there. It's a rap event. There's some black people there, mostly English speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy comes up to me, he's like, "You Rhyming Gaijin?" And I'm like, yeah. So fast forward to 2020, we're a group of friends. So he's saying, yo, when so-and-so met you the first time, he was like super excited to meet you because he said he watched your videos. But when he talked to you, he was like, wow, Rhyming Gaijin is so different from whatever. But after talking to me more, he's like, He's like, no, Rhyming Gaijin is just like that. So that story, I met so many people who said, yeah, that one video where you talked about immigration helped me get to immigration. But the thing was, I didn't know that they existed. It's as if I was throwing rocks over a wall, not knowing that they're going in the bucket. So I had no rest. Where the other guys, the other YouTubers, they're getting like, I mean, it could be because we're black or whatever, but
I mean, like, I feel like it's because there are some popular people are in Japan, like not just in Japan. I don't think it has anything to do about black. I think it has a lot to do about the mindset has changed. So when you talk about like early on 2007, like how many people were on the internet then? Now there's like, now the visa in Japan has changed. So there's a lot more people online doing things, So, and now people are able to go to Japan now. So like maybe now that's kind of like why you might see a difference. If
well,
makes sense.
I mean, like I have this I always try to tell people, you should make a video or you should do whatever, do something, put yourself out there, express whatever medium works for you.
Yeah.
And I always kind of think about my story, and like the hardest thing for most people when it comes to most things is you post your podcast or you post your video and there's no views or no likes or no comments, and you think that sucks, and you quit.
No.
They quit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But in my case,
why do you
I
think
didn't
that?
know that like when I started, there was no money. You didn't do YouTube for money in 2006. You did it because you're weird in that way, and you just want to put stuff out on the World Wide Web. Now, 2020, you know that you could get signed, or you can get a deal, or you can get a this, and that's kind of what people are aiming for, to get something. Which I didn't have that because it didn't exist. Now when I post the video, it's like I get 10 views when I used to get 20 views. It's a weird feeling. But it's a different time. But if because even now, right? I'm doing my beta test because I want to get back into it. I want to get back into it.
I see it. And you get a lot of views. I see 100 views. I see 200 views here. I mean, like, some of the old videos have 15K. And over time, like, the videos come up there. I really feel like that people like a story, and people relate to the story, You don't think so?
Well, stories help, but I can't. So back to just being authentic, I would never.
I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off.
No, just do what you gotta do. It's your interview, so don't let me go off on wild tangents. Get the information.
Got it.
But if I had a girlfriend, girlfriend. I mean, I have girlfriend, but some of them don't care for YouTube. They don't want to be anywhere near.
That's Japan.
But
yeah,
it's not the Japan thing. It's a them thing. They like. But either way, so if I had this girlfriend and I made my videos, I'd jump from that 100 to like 500. That story with Boy Meets Girl.
The girl in the
even
video.
in these ones. But I don't want that. Like I'm a photographer now. That's my newest hobby. I get to put girls in my videos all day long. It's not what I want. I want.
You want the authenticity.
Well, it needs to be real. Like, see, all right. If you look at my channels, or I have to, but if you look at my videos, you don't hear me talking so much about being a black guy in Japan.
Right.
That was never my. I'm black.
That wasn't.
I'm in Japan.
And I like that. I like that about your video. Like that you don't try to use that point. A lot of people today have that, black podcast or melon, it's black. There's a good one. I don't want to say it because he might watch it as well. There's a guy named Ronzo. He plays here. He has a thing called Black Experience Japan, which I think is great. But I feel that when it comes down to it, if you relate back to that book Homo Deus, that we have to understand that humans are organisms, and that we all kind of like have the same properties encapsulated into us. And just because we are living in different areas at different times, that we can find something in our video that we can relate to. Like, for instance, that you might get more video views because of the fact that you might have a girl in the video, or you might have a girl as the head of the video, because many people always want to wonder, why does Rhyming Gaijin have this girl on the video? But that would be with anybody. I mean, like, I think we can see where, with the data, as time goes on, we can figure out more. I mean, that's another thing about YouTube now. YouTube allows you to kind of play with the data. You can actually see when people like click on your links on your videos, how far they go into your video, when do they stop looking at the video. You can do a lot of those things now. So I think that, with all the knowledge that you know before, you're kind of like ahead of the game. Anybody who comes into this group, or anybody that comes into, this social media space now is going to need a lot of help, with trying to get in touch with people. And you can kind of like build on top of that by like taking this information that you know about what happened in the past and sharing on what you can use in the future. Because, for instance, email marketing would have been a great opportunity to help you build your brand. Meaning that you would get people, you would make a landing page, and you would kind of like have your a way to say, if you go ahead, you get the first few, you get some free music from you on the iTunes or whatever, okay, an MP3, you could download it for free. You give them your email list, and then as you continue to make more and more videos, you can kind of use these emails not only to alert people to videos that you put through, but also to sell products and stuff. And that's what YouTube is actually being used for, by you talking about, what type of music you listen to, what type of products you use to record your videos, how do you get your ideas going on. Like you actually pick your own brain, and then you make videos about that, And like I think that you had some videos. One of the videos I wanted to talk about was you had a video on there called "How to Get English Teaching Job in Japan." And I had like 17K views, going into your, so you sort by popularity, the largest video, the most viewed videos are, I think, top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, top view was Short Skirts in Japan, Tokyo Nightlife, Next File, Dating in Japan, and Tokyo Nightlife. So you can tell what people like to know about, And if you can flex the videos that way, with your own brand, and try to do. I mean, it takes a lot of work, but I really think that, with the data you have right here, you already know where you gotta go. Don't you think?
Well, I'll let you in. I'll let everyone in on a secret. So, I always read books. Reading books is great. And early on, awesome. I read Google Analytics. It's not a book. It's a boring ass book, but I read it because I was numbers. So I started really getting into it. I remember walking around preaching to people, "Hey man, it's the numbers, and they're looking at me like I'm I have two heads or something. I found no one who was like on board, and then I start to make money, and I'm looking at how come this video gets 0.00005 and this one gets 0.03. So then I went into the whole ecosystem of AdSense and all that. I was really deep into it. Then I read another book, and the guy's like, the 80-20 rule. I picked up the 80-20 rule book, and I'm reading that. He's like, 80% of your videos ain't going to do full. So I deleted. Like right now, some people, hey, what happened to that video? I just deleted the 80% that wasn't doing anything and left those 20%, which boosted the ones that you see are boosted because that's what people are looking at. But overall, it didn't. I mean, it did. I mean, when I was doing it, nothing happened. Now the results have. I guess the bane of everything I do is I'm always trying to do the next thing, and I find myself trying to get people on board to what I'm doing at that point in time, but they can't see it because it's why would you put videos on YouTube? Fast forward.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
And now I'm out of it. Like today, I met this guy. He's telling me that's what he's doing now, and I'm like, that's great, but there's other. I'm on a whole other plane. So for me to go back to YouTube is weird.
Go ahead.
So back to the passion. The reason I made how to get a teaching job in Japan, one, no one was making the video at that time. Two, that day or that week I was with this company, and I think every year we get a new contract, but they didn't tell me if I got it or not. So my visa expires in April. The contract ended in February, and for those 2 little months, I don't know if I have a job, and they're not telling me. And I didn't get the job, and I had to scramble to get the next job. And I'm like, these people are screwing with us. They're not our friends. So I'm like, I'm going to teach people how to be ready for this, and that's why I made those videos. So it was a genuine, not this is going to get clicks, and this is going to – it was – I want people never to experience what I'm experiencing. Come out here, live your life, have fun. Do not think these companies are
your friends.
And I think that resonated with a lot of people because I'm not trying to sell. I wasn't selling you anything. I was just a dude doing his thing, and this is something you gotta. And that's kind of most of my videos. This is my girlfriend. She's not like. She's a regular person, and we fight. And people would. I remember people. Oh my gosh, I get it, I guess, because when I look at I don't really look up to many people, but let's say who is someone recent? Okay, Kanye West. Everyone knows him.
Oh wow. Okay, you sure you want to use that guy?
Well, I need someone who's relevant. Or Outkast is another one. Andre 3000.
No, it's okay. You can use it. It's fine. It's just. I'm a fan of Kanye West. I go ahead. Sorry.
The things he's doing or going through, no one cares. They're more concerned with the what, but not the whys.
Right.
Like, clearly, something is. Most people don't just get up and do things without some spark, something. But no one cares because when you look at the comments, like, oh, we want the old one. Well, you can't get the old one. You can't go back in time, and that's kind of where I'm at. And everyone's growing, so they're changing, doing our thing, and people either ride with you or they leave. And YouTube being a free medium, you can't. It's a tough crowd.
So where would you where do you see yourself at, man? Where do you see Rhyming Gaijin, Rhyming Matthew? Matthew, the artist. Where are you looking at yourself in the future?
I mean, in the perfect ideal future, it's something like this. I might do it. I don't think I'll do it, but next week, if it doesn't come up, it didn't happen. But next week, but as I mentioned, I never knew people were watching me, and then 7, 8, 10 years later, they're telling me all these stories, and it's like, well, that's great, but I really thought no one was watching. Like, I can't think of a good. I don't know the movie name, but basically this dude, The Mist. You see The Mist?
The Mist. Tell me the name. The title. How you say it? MIST.
It's a Stephen King movie, The Mist. They're in like, well, it's the movie, not the book. So they're in this like thing. The mist comes and all these crazy demonic creatures are killing people. He gets in his car and he is driving away into the mist, and then the car stops, so they have to like decide if they're going to live or kill themselves. He only has 5 bullets, but there's 6 people in the car. So he shoots everyone. Blah, 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 blah. When the mist clears, it's the army, not the creatures. Now he has to live.
So basically, the way the ending of this movie is that spoiler alert for the people who haven't watched The Mist, is that everybody was in the car and they had to commit suicide by killing themselves, and the person killing them with the gun would be the person, the last person alive. So they already choose the last person. They already knew who was going to die, who was going to survive.
Well, not that so much, but just they're in the mist, so they don't know what's out there. They don't know the right steps to make. They could just wait and be killed by these monsters. His little daughter's going to die by a monster. It's horrible. Or put them out their misery. The timing. So I didn't know people were watching me, so I shot myself, in a sense. If I never stopped making videos, my channel would have kept growing. I could have been whatever, but I just stopped doing because I thought, what is the point? Because now I start seeing, this is 2015, I guess, when I'm in college or grad school. And there's people in Japan living off of YouTube, doing more or less the same thing I've been doing, but they figured it out, or they got their system down. Now, if my crowd has been a predominantly black crowd, they weren't catering to the black crowd. And if
the black crowd was the reason. Okay.
I mean, if you go back, like when I started my channel, the rapping channel, people would say, so I made the teaching videos, and they're like, yeah, we like the information, but we don't like rap. Fix your hat. Stop being so rapidy-rap. So I made the new channel, Rhyming Gaijin, which had no rap music in it. It was just a guy in Japan. And if you talk about the analytics, I could see that when the channel that had more ethnic-type people, hip-hop oriented, there was no ad revenue coming from them. It'd be like $10 on this channel, $30 on the non-rap channel. And this is, so I'm like, wow, that's interesting. And then you could see the numbers. So if you start to dig down into it, in 2015, 14, 13, whatever, the average household, or the people who are listening to me on one, it says they watch it from their phone, using some type of phone. You can't click ads on a phone at that time. The people who are clicking are probably college students sitting in their dorms, clickety click, click, click. Different segments, different demographics, whole different. If I didn't know all that, how could I? I mean, just. And then when I would talk to people, it'd be like, one guy, he let me into his account, and I went through his account and I color coded everything, threw it in an Excel to show him that 80% of your videos are doing shit. It's these 20, but it was very hard. I color coded it for the man, and he couldn't see what I was trying to get at, and it was frustrating because it's like I have this knowledge I want to share, but I was unable to do it. But
did you write anything? Did you write anything? Like any? Did you publish any blogs anywhere or no?
No.
No.
I mean, that's
so it's just YouTube and Facebook. What about Facebook?
For I guess the reference would be you see Wolverine, the last one,
the one who is in Japan, right? The Wolverine that
after
one.
that one.
Oh no, what was that?
Logan, I guess Logan.
Okay, Logan. Okay, yeah, the one that when he was like lost his memory. Okay. So this is the X-Men movie. This is a Marvel Fox movie. That's Logan. That people would know. And you're making a reference to the movie Logan, starring Hugh Jackman.
Yes.
Okay.
So in Logan, he's like. So when we see him, for the most, or it's the same arc in all movies. So in Batman the trilogy with Snyder, I believe, made that one. The third one, Batman's all like old and like just not doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
And Logan, the third one, he's old and he's not doing very well. Superman also did the same arc, but people didn't like to see that style of Superman. Tony Stark had one. Like, it's basically the third movie. First one, they get the powers. Second one, they beat someone. And the third one, they're kind of thinking, is this...
What life is this? Is this sort of thing?
Or life is... So that was where I'm at. I can talk to you all night. We probably won't, but I could.
I'm so interested in grabbing some feedback. I don't have any problem. I can. Let me actually. You know what? Let me hang up and call again so I can divide these videos. I mean these audios. I don't lose it. I have an hour of this audio right now. 1 second. Okay. Okay. 1 second. All right, so that's going to be the first part of this series of the actual interview with Rhyming Gaijin. I would like to go ahead and thank everybody for listening. If you're interested in finding out more about Rhyming Gaijin's music, I can basically leave a link. It's at rhyming.bandcamp.com. Let me just go ahead and make sure I say it one more time. So that's Rhyming G, that letter G, so 2 G's, and bandcamp.com. And it's called 365 Days of Rhyming by Rhyming Gaijin. He also is selling some content and products. You can find out more about that from there. And on the next part of the interview, we'll be talking a little bit more. Mostly, we get more into the actual the idea of like being on YouTube, and finding out why he wanted to actually, use YouTube as a platform for building, his brand or even communicating with his audience. And, and hopefully you find some content that's interesting to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to, send that content to me at ksamuel.chris@gmail.com. Also pay attention to us on Twitter at Yamanote_intech. And we also have a website now. Yay. So it's yamanote.tech. And thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
One fine day you realize, to your astonishment, there is no way at all of having your mind anywhere else but in the present moment. Because even when you think about the past or the future, you're doing it now, aren't you? And that results in a very curious transformation of consciousness. You feel that the present moment is flowing along and carrying you with it all the time. Just like the flow of the Tao. The flow of the Tao is what we would call the flow of the present. See? And you're with it. There's no way of being anywhere else. The Jungyun, the book called The Unwobbling Pivot,
says, the Tao is that from which one cannot deviate. That from which one can deviate is not the Tao. Or to put it into the form of a Zen story, the master Joshu said to Nansen, what is the Tao? Nansen replied, your everyday mind is the Tao. Joshu asked, how do you get into accord? Nansen replied, when you try to accord, you deviate.